On behalf of Fiji and the whole Pacific, I say, Bula Vinaka. Welcome to the third Codex and Food Regulatory Forum 2026 for North America and the Southwest Pacific. Let us work together with science to shape standards and protect our future. Now, shall we begin? Let's go!
Well, it's very difficult to follow an animated coconut, but here I am. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the NASWP Codex and Food Regulatory Forum. My name's Scott Mersch, and I know many of you, and coconut too, apparently. I look after the Codex International Standards section at the Australian Government Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry. And so my section houses the Codex contact point and the CCFIX Secretariat, the Secretariat for the Codex Committee on Food Import and Export Inspection and Certification Systems. And we participate in some Codex committees too, including, of course, the Regional Coordinating Committee for NASWP. It's great to be here with all of you, many familiar faces in the room, and a few new ones, and some people who haven't been here for a little while. So welcome back. As I said, my role is really largely Codex, but I know that for many of you it's not, and it's a part of much broader responsibilities. So very, very appreciative that you've all taken the time in your busy schedules to be here and show support for Codex and the region's participation in Codex. This is the third time that we're meeting in this sort of format, informally in between formal CCNASWP sessions, and hopefully it's not the last time we'll do this. We're really pleased to be able to kind of meet at this halfway point to in an informal setting to discuss the regional standard setting program and the priorities that we'd identified at previous NASWP meetings and previous fora. So the idea is that it's an informal setting where we can all come together and share perspectives, ideas, knowledge, expertise, learn from each other. I certainly am looking forward to that. I know I'm in a suit and tie, but I'm going to take that off as soon as possible, and let's go with the informal, please. But the purpose really is to sort of set ourselves up for the next 12 months, out to the next NASWP meeting, and for the Commission as well to sort of help with our regional coordination efforts. Just maybe the elephant in the room, and one or two people have already asked me the question, why are we here on a Sunday? So I mean, I apologize. Thank you all for being here on a Sunday. You can probably appreciate that sometimes just the resourcing, timing, and the constraints of the Codex calendar and fiscal years, etc., sort of meant that we were constrained to this period, or else we weren't going to be able to do it. And we think it's worthwhile doing. I think the last two that we've done have been only 2 days. So we kind of wanted to do an extra day this time because there's always so much to cover. And so that's why we've got the extra day. But I mean, in saying that, if you know, let's work quickly and effectively and get our work done and get to the pool, I say. The view out there can be our incentive. So yeah, hopefully some of you have had some time to relax. I know some people have only just got in, so we'll make sure you get out to do some relaxing. I'd like to just say a couple of thank yous. So to Fiji for being obviously the beautiful, welcoming country that it is, and for hosting us here for this meeting. to Cook Islands for taking on the role, the very important role of regional coordinator, and for your commitment to Codex and giving the region a voice. Thank you, and thank you for being here. And of course to Samuel and the GFoRSS team, who really have done all of the organising, the logistical work, developing materials, and will be your facilitator for the next 3 days. Thank you. And then of course to everyone else, again, thank you very much to the members of the NASWP family for coming together for these 3 days. On the topic of the NASWP family, I would like to propose that we just take a few moments to remember a very important member who sadly passed, and that's Lisa Ralph, obviously, who many of you will know, maybe all of you. This is the first time we're meeting sort of as the NASWP collective, really, since that happened. So, as I say, most of us were lucky enough to have our lives touched by Lisa. She was a really positive force in the region, and just a genuine, kind, lovely, good-humoured human being. So if I propose if we would just take a minute to observe a minute of silence and reflect, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, on a less somber note, I look forward to working with everyone this week, and I'd like to introduce Ms. Tamarama Anguna, please, to make a few words as the regional coordinator, if you would like.
God is good all the time. Good. That should be louder, actually, just like the coconut. And just like the coconut, I see you, Scott. I see Professor Samuel and your GFoRSS team, and I see our CCNASWP families. Kia and very nice to be here. Yes, thanks to you all, the Cook Islands is now taking on the role of regional coordinator from Fiji. That was well looked after by Fiji, and as someone new to the role, the Cook Island looks upon each of you to support the regional coordinator's role going forward, but also to ensuring that we are able to deliver a CCNASWP that we can all be proud of and actually have some good outcomes and deliverables for our region going forward. I'd like to thank the government of Fiji and the people of Fiji for having us here for our meeting this week, this 3 days, but also for each of you who have given up your time to come. And I think this is all made possible through our partners, DAF through GFoRSS, as well as New Zealand and Canada. And I look forward to having a really good, although I hear the word informal, I really look forward to learning from you all, as well as ensuring that we achieve the objectives that we set out to attain these next 3 days, but also getting to know what other challenges or assistance we can help ourselves with going forward. And I think as a family, no one gets left behind. So I really look forward to working with you all. for this workshop, but also in preparation for our CCNASWP. And you are all invited to attend our CCNASWP in the Cook Islands from the 8th to the 12th of February 2027. So make sure you're still in this role, eh? I don't expect to see anyone else to come. But on behalf of the Cook Islands who've taken on this role, thank you very much to DEF for ensuring our participation, but also thank you all, and thank you, Fiji, for the role. Please pass on my regards to Dr. Tukana, who is unable to join us today. And I hope to continue the good work that was done by Fiji when they held the role of regional coordinator. Kia ora e ke manuia.
Thank you, Ms. Tamarama. I think no one's changing roles now. That's it. We're all in our jobs for another year. Now, next, if I may invite Ms. Sanyana Christiana from Fiji to please introduce herself.
Bula Vinaka. Bula Vinaka. Good morning once again, and to the honorable delegates. I was just being approached by Madam Alicia this morning to have a statement also on behalf of the Fijian government in respect to the meeting this morning. And again, yes, apology from Dr. Andrew, as other commitments were in place this week. And that's why the Fiji delegation is here. I'm Sanyana Christiana, currently just 8 months in the Chief Agriculture Economist for the ministry. So before I was with statistics, so I had a pleasure working with Mr. Mara in the work of developing statistics in the Pacific. But I'm glad to be here. This is more like my first Codex original meeting, but I was part of the CCNASWP. So I'm really grateful of the opportunity. Honorable delegates, of course, acknowledging the presence of our CCNASWP regional coordinator, the GFoRSS in partnership with the Government of Australia for the, even though we host, the funding was from GFoRSS. So thank you once again, regulatory authorities, government, private institution. On behalf of the Government of Fiji and as from the Permanent Secretary, I welcome you all to the third Codex and Food Regulatory Forum. And of course, we extend our sincere thanks to the host organizers and partners for the dedication that has made this gathering possible. For us, we see that this workshop is particularly important coming after our last CCNASWP meeting. And it also offers a crucial moment to move from regional commitments to now concrete action, with something that we look forward to, and to share lessons learned. And of course, align our technical guidance from the CCNASWP family with our national realities on the ground. And strengthening science-based standards and regulatory systems remain essential for protecting public health, facilitating trade, and supporting resilient food system across our region. You know, it's a challenge for us in Fiji. I think last month we had our first ever National Codex meeting and trying to develop a 2-year plan. We found that the word Codex in the past years, we see it as a lot of traveling. I'm sorry to say, this is what we have discussed. In the last month, we have managed to sit as a Codex national body without any consultant. It's just local authorities and government officials taking cue of the CCNASWP findings and trying to develop our 2 years regional plan. And we have the tentative. We are looking forward to validate this in this meeting. That's just the challenge for us as well, to consider how the outcome of this meeting or workshop have or will tangibly shape our national agriculture agendas and policies. I know the word Codex in the whole government mechanisms, speaking from experience in Fiji, it sounds like a big international definition. You know, they fail to see it and how this is embedded into our national priority. So will the challenges, will the commitments made translate into stronger inspection systems, clearer standards, improved capacity building, and better coordination across government ministries and stakeholders. So our collective progress depends on honest assessment, our political will, and the follow-through at home. I look forward to the robust dialogue. The government of Fiji look forward to the robust dialogue, the practical recommendation, and measurable commitments that advance food safety and nutrition, especially for the CCNASWP region, also considering the external situation and how when we develop and discuss our agenda these 3 days in considering of the external situation and how we are protected in our plans that we will be discussing. So we look forward and thank you, and we wish the government of Fiji, wish the CCNASWP region third meeting this morning a productive and successful forum. Vinaka Makalemu.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing those insights and Fiji's experience with translating Codex into international outcomes. Now, at this point, I'll hand over to Samuel Godfrey, our esteemed facilitator from GFoRSS, to take us through the program. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much, Scott, and Bula Vinaka. It is a true pleasure to meet you again here in beautiful Fiji, and I would like to start by thanking our host country, its representatives, thanking the entire Codex family of North America and the Southwest Pacific for giving us the privilege to continue to work with you within this Codex forum. I would like to start also by thanking and acknowledging the support of the Codex program of the Government of Australia, hosted by the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry, for all the financial and otherwise support that was provided, without which we would not be able to host this event. Our thanks go also to our leader and coordinator for the region, Ms. Tamarama Anguna from Cook Island, and to all of you for dedicating the time in your schedules to be with us, and as Scott indicated, on Palm Sunday, no less. So thank you so much for being here. We wish again that these 3 days of work will get us progress on the commitments that were made for the CCNASWP activities, but also help us strengthen and continue to build capacity of food control systems across the region. So I would like, first of all, to start by a few logistical aspects. So as Scott mentioned, also this meeting is put together thanks to a great team that I have the privilege to work with from the Global Food Regulatory Science Society, some of whom are here. So actually, please feel free to call upon them and myself whenever you need anything. We are here as a family, and hopefully we'll support you the best way we can. Miss Alicia from Fiji, who has joined our team and actually contributed a great deal in supporting the organization of this event. Mr. James Roberts, based in Australia, Dr. Amin Assoud, based in Canada, and many other colleagues who work behind the scenes in various parts where GFoRSS is based and managing our operations in Tunisia, in Egypt, and elsewhere. So to all of those colleagues, I would like to say thanks now, and thanks for all their support throughout the meeting. I would like also to mention that this meeting is run in a hybrid mode. So in fact, you have all received a link, and I encourage you to share that link with your colleagues in your respective countries. They can join us anytime. And by the way, they can also participate if they so wish. They just need to indicate that they want to intervene whenever they need to. Obviously, the hybrid part will be run for plenary sections of the program, because as we will go through the program, there will be sections where we will be doing some group work, And those ones will be done, unfortunately, only in a physical manner. So, but colleagues would be able to join in order to see the reports on the progress of the activities that will take place in group form. So, going through the program, you have a QR code on your name tags. That QR code should take you to the web page where all the information about this meeting will be posted. So there is already some preliminary information that was posted and that was shared with you ahead of the meeting. But as we continue to develop the information, more information and even the outputs of the discussions, any presentations that will be made, will be systematically updated on the website. So now Amin is taking you through this page using the traditional way, going through the GFoRSS web page. It's actually in the events section, so this is where it is. But if you scan your QR code, you should land there automatically. So if you scroll down the page, you will find the proposed agenda that was updated. So you can follow that, and most of the information is in a PDF form. And for each session, whenever there is a working document or a presentation, it will be posted on this page as well. So this morning presentation is already there, I guess, actually. So and some of the documents that we will use throughout the day. You will see that for the working sessions, we have also posted both the working documents and any type of support information, reference documents that we may need for our discussions. And as I mentioned, we'll keep updating this page on a regular basis. Now, going through the program, and again, we will call it a tentative agenda because, again, plans are meant to be guides, and hopefully we're going to try to follow the guide as much as possible, but they are meant also to be amended in order to suit our progress. So even though we have an agenda, we will adapt the agenda to our progress and to also your needs and your recommendations. So we completed the introductory part. We are right now in reviewing the program, and we're going to come to the review of the objectives. And we will use some time to have an introduction of everybody. And we will start our session. So this morning's session, we're going to try really to set the stage for our discussions by trying to recap and review the commitments that were made stemming from the last CCNASWP meeting. So CCNASWP 17, and that will really give us the path forward for the discussions throughout the next 2 days. We will start the technical part of our discussion by a review of upcoming Codex committees and discussing any needs for regional coordination and preparation, particularly to the milestone event that is CAC 49, I guess, right? Yeah, CAC 49. I'm always, I'm mixed up in the numbers, so it's CAC 49. So basically, there are a couple of Codex committees that are upcoming, and we're going to be looking at what is included in the agenda. And given that we are preparing for CAC 49, we will also reminisce a little bit the outputs of previous Codex committees, the output of which will be put for or submitted for approval and endorsement by the Commission. And we'll kind of look at the outlook of the Codex season going forward. After lunch, we will dedicate the time to 2 working pieces, working items that are in fact on the work plan of CCNASWP. There was a commitment that CCNASWP comes forward with standards on 2 commodities from the region, gallop nut and breadfruit flour. So we will be conducting this work in the form of 2 physical groups. So we'll be shared throughout, in 2 groups here in this room, and we will review that, and hopefully we'll advance in the development of these draft standards. Now, we're going to be aided by a starting document it was not meant actually to be necessarily binding, but rather really it's always easier to start from something written rather than from a white page. But feel free to consider that whatever is proposed there is completely up for amendment. So it's really your work that will determine the future of these two drafted documents. Tomorrow, we will be continuing with also some drafting work. So you see there's quite a bit of time that is dedicated for group work. And we have a proposal that we discussed in the form of a discussion paper introduced by Vanuatu last year. Well, actually, it was this year. See, it's going fast. It was it? No, last year. Last year, my gosh. Okay, so see, it's January, end of January 2025. Yes, the last CCNASWP meeting. And that's on a possibility of developing food safety guidance around a traditional way of preparing food, and that is underground cooking. So we're going to be looking at the possibility of moving the discussion paper into a project document to propose new work for the region on a code of practice, possibly on underground cooking. Then after that, and depending on the progress, we will have an update for each of the physical working group to see where we are, and that will help us plan the path forward for the next period of our meeting. After the break tomorrow, or the lunch break, we will dedicate some time to a standard that was already adopted, and that is the CAVA standard, and for which there are still some continued discussion on some methods of analysis to support this standard, and that's the CAVA nobility analytical methods. And for the following day, so we're gonna move to the third day, we will be looking at again how we progressed on the drafts that we will have had. And in fact, if we need more time to develop those drafts, of course, we are together and we can basically, each group can decide on how much more time they need. And we will organize some informal work sessions such that we arrive. Our objective is that the third day, we would be at a point where each of the groups will be in a position to present what is the latest draft stemming from our collective collaborative work during this meeting. And that's what will be planned for the morning of the 31st of March. And from there, we will decide on a path forward for these standards. And in the morning of that day, we also have planned a session, a technical session, building on a discussion that took place during the colloquium, the last colloquium, but also that continued throughout CCNASWP 17, about the requirements of data submission and how the Southwest Pacific region in particular can be more active in submitting data, both for general subject committees, so for example, for the Codex Committee on Contaminants in Food, but also for data that is useful for the development of standards relevant to the region, like scopolamine in noni juice. And we're going to be reviewing the requirements of data generation, how we use data, how data can be applied, and how do we derive maximum limits, for example, for contaminants in food, and how that can be helpful to various food control jurisdictions in the Southwest Pacific when they want to adopt or adapt Codex standards. And finally, we will have the opportunity to review the accomplishments of this meeting and discuss the next steps. So that's the plan. There is a lot to do. But again, I think as Scott and Tamarama mentioned, if we are quite effective, we might actually be ahead of schedule. Who knows? So we'll see how we progress on that. Any questions before we proceed? We're good. So let's go let's get on with it. And the first part, basically, just really reviewing the objectives of the meeting once again, and really seeing or setting the scene on how we got here, basically what were the commitments stemming from CCNASWP 17. So you have this presentation is already posted. So again, our objectives, we're building on previous NASWP Codex forums and CCNASWP sessions. We're going to be focusing really on implementing some of the key commitments made during CCNASWP 17. We're hoping to achieve stronger coordination amongst Codex programs in the region. And also, we're going to be aiming towards stronger Codex capacity overall and more effective participation. Now, we're going to be focusing on some practical aspects and specifically looking at some regional standard setting efforts that were committed to during CCNASWP 17, but also some other goals that were set, particularly working on the implementation of the work plan for 2025-2026, including the communication plans. So those were included in the report of CCNASWP 17. And we will post actually the CCNASWP 17 report as a reference if we want to go back to it to check those commitments. So again, on a practical side, we're going to aim to progress on the drafts related to the regional standards for garlic nut and breadfruit flour. And we're going to be discussing the CAVA methods and hopefully more alignments towards getting that analytical part sorted out in the standard. And hopefully also advance a new work proposal to be discussed at CCNASWP 18 on underground cooking. We're going to be also looking at aspects related to data, and that's the part that we dedicated the session on the Tuesday for that. How do we better respond to FAO WHO calls for data? How data is used in risk assessment processes, and particularly the application for CCCF processes. And we can discuss also, we will be discussing what we need to do, for example, for data needs related to scopology. So we're looking forward really to productive discussions amongst all partners and hopefully achieving the progress needed on the commitments of CCNASWP 17.